Right, guys, welcome back. Today we are testing direct-to-consumer brand sub 70. We've tested them in the past. Today we are testing the 649 MB Tour and the Tommy Armour iron as well.
Brand new, yep. The TAIIIs, recently sub 70, have partnered up with the legend Tommy Armour and made an iron specifically for him.
Love it.
So 2 blades. That's it's not a common occurrence in the channel that we get a couple of blades to test, Mikey. The direct-to-consumer market, there's no doubt about it, is growing fast.
Huge.
More companies entering into the market. But what's interesting, I think, is when you see a brand partnership.
Yeah.
Direct-to-consumer means one thing. You know, a lot of marketing costs have been stripped down, lots of overhead stripped down, passing those savings on to the customer.
Yeah.
Right. And but what you don't see that often is these partnerships. And we've seen other brands we've had, obviously New Level, starting to do a couple other little partnerships, quite a lot of sets in the Champions Tour being played.
Definitely.
New Level. We've got obviously Haywood irons that have been great performers for us in sub 70, which we've tested in the past. It's tested really, really well.
Yeah, the crazy thing for me is how affordable this stuff is. And I mean, if anyone can get into a set of these irons. It's not that $1,500, $1,600, $1,800 set of clubs. It's, you know, $500 to $700. They have a bunch of shafts you can, you know, upcharge and stuff like that. It's impressive.
It's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah, you were looking through the price list earlier and kind of, you know, calling out head shaft combinations and couldn't believe the pricing. And I think in the situation we're in right now in this, you know, well, we're not quite post-COVID yet, but in this market where golf is booming, clearly, there are companies who will significantly benefit from it, and I think the direct-to-consumer companies will be those companies to benefit.
Definitely.
Obviously, people are coming back to the game, maybe new to the game. You know, golf is in a better state than probably it's ever been, and having price options is great. I
mean, you think of even buddies of mine who just got into the game that want something like a full set of irons that they can afford, and you know, they always ask me, do you have anything kicking around? And you know, this is a perfect brand for them. That Haywood, you know, New Level, something that they can afford and get a brand new set of clubs from. No doubt, no doubt. So looking at these 2 models, Mikey, we're going to test pitch and wedge 7 iron, 5 iron today. We've got both sets 5 to wedge. Both good looking heads, really nice looking heads. We done some testing with Endo Epon from Endo last week, and the first thing I noticed with it was I didn't love the wedge. Right. I think I'd said that in the video, but I put both of these down and I go, really nice. Yeah. Really, really nice shape. 2 different shapes. The 649 MB Tour has a much thinner top line, very noticeable. Has actually a bit of a different finish on it as well. The face on the TAIII is a little bit more satin, a little bit more repellent to glare and things like that, whereas the 649 MB Tour has a little bit more reflection on it. So straight away I gravitate probably towards the look of the TAIII immediately. Yeah, and interesting, like the glare reduction and stuff, different finishes is obviously you can just hear, you know, a player like Tommy Armour saying, I don't want it to flash me in the face kind of thing when I'm setting it behind the ball, and you know, little player, you know, tendencies that he likes, they've put into an iron for him. Definitely. When you were reading me the specs earlier on, you were saying that there's some loft differences between these 2 Definitely,
irons.
Couple degrees of loft. You look at the 649 is 30 in the 6. Yep. And
so traditional weak.
Yeah. And then you have the TA was a little bit stronger in loft by a degree and a half. 2 degrees. 2 degrees. Yeah, 28. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to make a difference.
Definitely.
Going to definitely make a difference, and it's something for people to play with. You might like your lofts a little bit weaker, and you might gravitate to the TAIIIs because you can reduce offset. Yeah, you might want to do that. You know, if you do play your irons at that weaker, or maybe you just would love to play a blade, but also need to play, you know, lofts a little bit stronger. You might need that as well. Definitely. So between these 2 options, you know, I think there's something in there for, you know, for the blade consumer. Definitely. Okay. And both KB 130Xs? Yeah, so good shaft, a grip. I really like the MCC +4. So we're going to run both pitch and wedges through. Now, we'll start off 135 with the weaker lofted pitch and wedge, then we'll go to 140 for the TAIII, which should fly a little further. Cool. How do they sound?
A fraction maybe clicky to me, for that, you know, blade especially, the little higher pitched.
Not kind of your traditional soft forward?
No. Okay. How'd they feel?
Similar to that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good strike. Good swing. One thing out of the gates, you can almost see the numbers are, there's no massive jump between speed or spin or anything like that. It's really consistent. First couple of strikes, any noticeable difference?
It is a bit of a difference. I might say more solid.
Right, okay.
Slightly more solid.
Interesting.
Maybe the weighting of them, you know, a little bit more of a muscle behind it.
Right.
Maybe a little more solid, probably more to my preference. I might also be feeling a little less loft. That generally makes it feel more solid because it's a higher compression.
Right, okay.
But it does feel good.
Strike.
I feel good.
Okay, I mean, interesting little test here already. The pitching wedge, you know, battle of the pitching wedges is exactly the same.
Not much in it.
You know, one thing I, you know, looked at right away, dispersion with the Tommy Armours were maybe fraction tighter, and like you said, you know, it's something that you would gravitate towards to more of the feel and the kind of shape of the club. So that could be playing into it a lot, but you know, they're bang on this, very close.
Yeah, little incremental changes in ball speed, lower launch, yard more. There's 1 degree of difference in loft, so you would expect them to be in that order. But nothing much going on. I think you'd be hard pressed to pick them out if you visually just watch them.
Yeah.
But there is only 1 degree of difference in the loft, and once we get into the mid irons here with the 7, we do have a 2 degree separation.
Yep.
We should start to see them stretch a little further apart from one another right now. But as far as pitch and wedges go, they both felt really nice. My preference would have just been the TAIII.
Cool. Strike.
Mm-hmm. It sounded a bit better than the other ones.
Yeah. Both irons definitely have a bit of pop to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not entirely sure why that is.
Yeah.
The efficiencies are really good.
Mm-hmm.
They just have some speed to them.
Good swing. Sounded good.
Skinny.
Lie angle on these 60.5. In the 5.
Fractionally flat.
Yeah. Good strike.
Mm-hmm.
Go in. Oh. Strike. All right, interesting numbers with both irons. At the end of it, we can see you gravitate towards the Tommy Armours a little bit more, but again, for multiple reasons. Little pre-worn leading edge on there, gets you through the turf. A couple of times you hit with the other 649s, you felt getting a little stuck.
Yep.
I think that pre-worn leading edge is huge for a lot of irons. We see it in a lot of OEMs. Everyone loves a bit of a bevel on these clubs. It gets you through the turf. But comparison, ball speed and club head speed are very similar. It's just you get a little bit more out of those TAs, just for probably workability more than anything.
I honestly just feel like I hit them way more solid. Mm-hmm. And again, going back to the loft, it might just be that the loft is a little bit less and gets progressively 1 degree less in the wedge, 2 less in the 7, 2 less in the 5, and maybe psychologically I feel that additional compression go, okay, that was a good one. Like I get the feedback off that one, but the ball speed, certainly with the 4 iron was reflective of the difference. Like a 5 iron, sorry, not the 4 iron. Like I felt like the 5 irons were 2 totally different 5 irons.
Right.
I absolutely loved the feel of the TAIII 4 iron.
Yeah.
It was flying good. It was still spinning plenty, to be honest. I mean, that's the one thing with these irons. I mean, they retain a lot of spin.
Yeah.
And they're 2 completely different irons. I mean, you get 2 blades that one performs a bit like a cavity back, I would say, the TAIII,
yeah.
And the other one performs a bit more like a traditional blade. So if you do want to go with the blade, keep the offset minimal, have the narrower sole, you've got 2 different options within the blade family.
Definitely.
Really good. Like them both a lot. And it just always comes back to one thing with sub 70, huge value for money.
Yeah. And there's a couple things. The TAs, they are 4 to pitch. You can play around with different additives, so they're 900 plus.
Right.
And then the 649s come in tour chrome and raw, and then there's different, some only come 5 to pitch.
Yeah.
But again, they're around the 550 to 650 range. Great for value. Set irons, which is awesome.
Yeah, really good. Can't speak highly enough about them. Tommy's done a good job of designing those irons.
Yeah.
He really has. I mean, you could play those in a heartbeat. Okay, guys, great little test. Obviously, in the forged iron market, the price can get up there a little bit. We know some of the Japanese forging can get a little bit pricey. Can get up there over $2,000, $3,000 for a set of irons. Here we're under the $1,000 threshold. I think that's the important thing. And from the results, clearly not at the sacrifice of the performance. They really do perform well. So if you are in that market looking for this type of iron, a blade that performs, that feels good, looks good, and you don't really want to stretch your budget, I think sub 70, this is exactly what they're designed for.
Definitely. The value is really, really impressive.
Yeah, really, really good. And stops you having to dive into that second-hand market, which is what some people have to do if they want to stay with the kind of, the premium forgings. And you can get a brand new set, you can get your pick of your shafts, you can customize it with the grips. Really, really don't have to sacrifice anything on the set when you're going with these heads.
Love it.
Good stuff. Okay, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.